Welcome to Malifaux Mondays from the Dice Gods. My name is Hydra, and if you've been watching the series, you'll know that Lillith and I are taking our first steps into the world and game of Malifaux. Knowing that the best source of advice for a newbie is the existing community, I ventured into the Malifaux subreddit to ask for advice on starting the game. Big shout out to those helpful mammals and their welcoming ways. One of the first bits of advice I received, and then received over and over after that, was not to play the full game, but to play Henchman Hardcore. Being a pretty hardcore kind of chap, that sounded like a great idea, but I was lacking one thing. Any form of a clue about what Henchman Hardcore actually is. Now, having played a few games of it, expect better reports on that soon, we decided it would be helpful to put a quick video up explaining what Henchman Hardcore is for the new players, like us, out there. That way, if you are considering taking the plunge into Malifaux, this is an honest review of the game type, so you can figure out if it's for you. Plus, we're lazy, and when we do battle reports, which include Henchman Hardcore, we can just point you guys over here for a more detailed explanation about what it actually is. So let's dive straight in and talk about what Henchman Hardcore actually is. In brief, it's a low-level, stripped-back version of Malifaux which removes some of the fiddly bits at the start and setup of the game. It's also completely usable if all you have is a starter box. The first big change is that your crew will be led by a henchman, not a master, as it would normally be. This instantly chops out the more complex and detailed interactions which come from the power which a master brings to the table. Next up, the game size is set at 30 soulstones rather than the normal 55 or 50, so you'll be looking at much smaller crews and you'll be paying the stones for your henchman as leader too. Your crew is also limited to exactly 4 models. In the full game, any leftover soulstones from this amount become your pool, and you can have up to 10. In Henchman Hardcore, you're allowed up to 3 in your pool, so spend. In practice, a crew with these restrictions will normally be the henchman and 3 minions. For my 10 Thunders, that looks like Ototo plus 3 Turikage, which comes in at a reasonable 28 soulstones, leaving me 2 in my pool for in-game mischief. For Lillith, she gets Aislinn and 3 Autumn Knights, which come in at 29 soulstones, leaving her with just 1 for her nefarious mischief in-game. Another change sees leaders being limited to 2 action points per turn, where they usually have 3, so that takes out 30% of the trouble they can cause. There's also a certain number of other rules like Helping Hand and Summoning skills which are turned off for this game mode as well. So if you do have crews or models which rely on that type of mischief, they won't work quite so well in this particular game mode. Normally there are restrictions about when you can start scoring, and those are also removed, so you can start scoring in turn 1 of this 5-turn game, so that's a bonus. Weird have also hugely simplified the start of the game as well. There is usually a process of drawing cards to figure out your strategy, i.e. mission, 5 schemes, which are your secondary missions, and deployment. Then you'll need to pick 2 of your schemes before the game starts. It's a little bit daunting for a newbie. Not so in Henchman Hardcore, all of these are predefined to make life a lot easier. Deployment is Wedge, which is an area 12 inches from the centre of your board, which tapers back to the corners. Your strategy is plant explosives. Here you have 5 explosives within your crew, 2 on your henchmen and 1 on each of the others. You'll need to plant them on your opponent's side of the board. The scoring incentivizes you to plant 1 explosive per round as you score for having more explosives on your opponent's side than you did in the last turn. Get this right and you can have 5 victory points over the whole game. For those secondary missions, your schemes, those are fixed as Assassinate and Vendetta. Assassinate has you target the enemy's henchmen and try to take them out. You get a victory point at the end of the turn on which you reduce them below half of their health points, and another victory point if they're dead and gone at the end of the game, so up to 2 in total. Vendetta has you secretly choose one of your minis and one of your opponent's crew, both of whom can't be a henchman, at the start of the game. On the turn that the selected mini on your opponent's crew gets below half of their health, you get a victory point, and if at the end of the game their mini is dead and yours is alive, you get another VP, so again up to 2 in total. That will give you a total of up to 9 victory points for a game of Henchman Hardcore, if we're reading that right. In practice, we found this to be a fantastic way to get into the game. There's enough rules and depth there for you to get a feel of what you're doing and to get a feel of your crew without feeling overwhelmed with the way that different rules interact with each other. You can really focus on learning the basics of the game and getting a feel for how flips work and doing all the modifications that you can do there without feeling like you've got these 6-7 miniatures in front of you, all with these cards with wonderful abilities on them, and you simply don't know how to put them together. Henchman Hardcore, stripping that back, makes you feel a lot more in control, makes it feel a lot more accessible, and a simpler way to get comfortable with the rules and your crew. We've yet to stray beyond it, to be honest with you, but now probably in our 3rd or 4th game of Henchman Hardcore, we're getting to a point where we're getting a degree of comfort with certain areas of the game and also starting to be able to pick out when things just aren't quite right, when we're playing things a little bit wrong because it doesn't make sense with the rest of the game. And that's when you're really starting to get comfortable with the rule set, so Henchman Hardcore is definitely something we'd recommend if you're starting in the game. We've included a link to a PDF of the Henchman Hardcore rules from Weird in our description if you'd like to have a go yourself. And that's it, that's Henchman Hardcore. Let us know in the comments if you've tried it, and if you did, how you found it. Or, if now that you've heard about it, you're thinking about giving it a go. We highly recommend it. And that's it for today's Malifaux Monday. Please give us a like, and if you've not done so already, please subscribe to see more. Thanks for watching, and we will see you again soon.